You guys often hear me say the words hydrate and moisturize, or it's very moisturizing or very hydrating, or it's a hydrator or a moisturizer, and there's a big difference. So today we're gonna talk about that. So I know this can be a confusing topic, and it actually used to confuse me a lot too. And the reason for that is because I feel like brands use the words interchangeably. They're sometimes saying it's hydrating, it's moisturizing. And the reason why they do that is because a lot of their products are formulated with both types of ingredients, which are humectants and occlusives. So it's something to kind of keep in mind, is it can be confusing, and sometimes you can have products that have both of those types of ingredients that are achieving hydration and moisturization. So that's why sometimes it can be so interchangeable, but there really is a big difference. And I also think it gets confusing because they share a similar goal, and that's to help your skin get enough water so it's not dry, tight, or dehydrated. The way humectants, which are hydrators, do that is by pulling water into your skin, and the way moisturizers do it is by locking it in. In one of my most recent videos, I talked about the difference between dehydrated skin and dry skin. Dehydrated skin lacks the water to be hydrated and then needs hydrating products, whereas dry skin lacks oil and needs to be moisturized with moisturizing products. And if you want to have kind of like a visual in your head, I think of hydrating ingredients more as like watery, liquidy ingredients, whereas moisturizing ingredients tend to be thicker, creamier ingredients. So now that I've given you that visual in your head, let's talk about the difference between hydrators and moisturizers. So first let's talk about hydrators, which tend to be humectants. You can include things like alpha hydroxy acids in there also, but we're gonna keep it small and simple. Gonna start with the small talk first, and we're gonna focus on the humectants today. Keep in mind, hydration is water content within your cells. So think about your skin cells. It's what makes it plump, it makes it bouncy, and it's what kind of reflects light too, because it's filled with water, kind of like a water balloon. If your skin cells don't have that water content, then they look shriveled and your skin looks a little bit lackluster, and you start to maybe even think that your skin is dry, but it's really just dehydrated. So when you use humectants on your skin, they're supposed to really draw the water into your skin cells and give you back that plumpness and that bounciness and really help you get that glow again. Not to mention, because they leave your skin feeling damp, they help other products and nutrients actually absorb into your skin better. Some of the commonly used humectants out there are hyaluronic acid. You guys know that one for sure. I feel like it's probably the most common of the humectants. There's glycerin. I've even said honey is a humectant. There's fatty acids, there's amino acids, peptides, which are amino acids. These humectants work kind of like magnets because they're pulling water into your skin cells, and usually it does it from the deeper layers of your skin, which is why you want to stay hydrated by actually drinking water, eating fruit, vegetables, anything that's high in water content. You want to make sure you're consuming it regularly. It can also pull water from the environment, which I think is a really good thing. If you live in a really humid area, it can pull a lot of water. If you're in a really dry area, you guys have heard me talk about this with airplanes, for instance, it can actually pull too much water from your skin because it's not getting anything from the environment. So keep that in mind, it's a really important part. Here's some examples of some hydrating products that contain humectants to hydrate your skin. This is the Aquabomb Hydrating Toner. It's by Belif. It's a Korean skincare brand, and this contains sodium hyaluronate, which is basically a form of hyaluronic acid, and that is the main humectant in this. There's also really nice ingredients. There's honeysuckle to soothe your skin, and then there's baobab to help lock in that hydration so you don't lose any of it. I know a lot of people like to use toners, especially when they have oily skin, to get that nice refreshing feeling, and also to just get off any excess oil that they have on their skin. So this is a nice one for that. I'll point out, because it's a Korean skincare brand, there is a little bit of alcohol in this. You know, we talk about drying alcohols and stuff and if they can be bad for your skin, and what I've found is alcohol can be fine in these types of products because it really helps the ingredients absorb into your skin a lot quicker. It gives you that nice refreshing feeling, and as long as you have a humectant in the product to help balance it out, it ends up being totally fine. So I think that's why Asian skincare products keep it in there, because it's across the board. I've mentioned this before. I've also wondered if it's because a lot of Asian countries can get really hot and humid, especially during summer months. It feels so nice on your skin, especially if you have oily skin, like I said, and really does leave you with a nice hydrating feeling to help you move into your next skincare step. Another example of a hydrating product that uses humectants is this one. It's by Ren. It's their Instant Firming Beauty Shot. This is jam-packed with humectants, and that's what makes it a little bit different. It's a little bit thicker, you can see, but still liquidy, and it's in serum form. And one difference between using this versus a toner is that you can use a serum in several steps of your skincare routine, so you can add it either before you're gonna go into other actives, or you can use it afterwards too to lock everything in and then go into your moisturizer. You can even mix it with other ingredients. So I feel like humectants humectant serums are very versatile. Now let's talk about moisturizers. The main point of moisturizers is to prevent transepidermal water loss, which is also known as TOOL. You guys have seen that acronym being thrown around a lot lately, I feel like. Basically, you're preventing moisture from evaporating from your skin. You're also trying to reinforce your skin's barrier function because you want it to stay strong. So that's what a moisturizer does. It's really helping to keep that water from evaporating because you want to make sure it stays in and you want to make sure the barrier of your skin stays strong. I like to think of moisturizers kind of like as like jail. Like they are the guards, right? So your moisturizer traps and seals all the little water people, like the humectants in there. They're floating around and they get trapped and sealed by the moisturizer so that they can't go anywhere, they can't evaporate, and they can't dehydrate your skin. I also like to think of moisturizers as a way to soften that top layer of your skin. I talk about this also with oils. Oils are moisturizers and they are there to absorb into that top layer. So whenever anybody's like, oh, this moisturizer absorbs really, really well, it's not absorbing very far. It's just going to that top layer of your skin and softening it. Some examples of moisturizers or moisturizing ingredients are shea butter, cocoa butter, jojoba oil, ceramides. You hear doctors, dermatologists talk about ceramides all the time because they help to repair that barrier function of your skin. There's grapeseed oil, and there's also dimethicone, which actually is a great occlusive moisturizer. And like I said, most brands tend to combine humectants with moisturizers because moisturizers on their own can be a little bit much. Like you don't want to have just like straight shea butter sometimes. I feel like it's too thick and too sticky. Same with jojoba oil. Whenever you add those humectants and other ingredients with them, it makes it feel so much nicer and work better on your skin, depending on what it is that you're trying to achieve. So I decided to break down the examples of moisturizers according to skin type. So for oily or acneic skin, this is one that would be really good. It's by Belif also. This is the True Cream Aqua Bomb. I feel like a lot of you love this when you have oily skin, but I've said this before, I feel like it's hard to find somebody who has a true oily skin type. People with true oily skin types can actually just use a humectant because they have enough oil that they can actually already lock in that humectant and that hydrator. This happens to be oil-free, but it does have a combination of humectants and moisturizers. There's oat husk in here, which is that humectant that attracts the water. And then as far as the moisturizers go, which are the main ingredients in this, besides water, water's always like a main ingredient in most beauty products. There's dimethicone in here, which is a great occlusive moisturizer, especially I feel like for people with oily skin. They tend to really like dimethicone. There's also plantain that helps to seal in that moisture. Now when it comes to dry skin, you want to get something that's a little bit heavier, like this one by Charlotte Tilbury. What makes this great for dry skin is it contains a blend of oils, which again, they're moisturizing, they're occlusives. You'll find ingredients like castor oil, squalane. Those are all oils that are really nice and luxurious on your skin. It also does happen to have some humectants in it. There's peptides, which again will help plump your skin. They're amino acids, so they are humectants. And then there are some retinol molecules in here, which just means that there's like a form of retinoids in here. I think it's not very strong in this one, but it just helps give a little boost of anti-aging so that, you know, if you want to minimize those wrinkles, you're plumping with the humectants, the peptides, and then you're sealing in to keep your skin strong. And then you're, you know, fighting that aging with some retinol. And then for normal to combination skin, there's this hydrating face cream. See, again, the language can get a little bit confusing because it's hydrating, but it's a cream. Gets confusing, but this is a really nice one. I love this brand. I'm really starting to get into it. It's called Good Science Beauty, and I've just started trying some of their products. It's really cool. And what makes this great for normal skin is that it has a really good combination of hydrating and moisturizing ingredients, so it feels a little bit lighter. This one is great to help protect that skin barrier function because it has an ingredient that's a marine omega-3 in it, which basically means it has really good fatty acids for your skin that are really gonna help it feel nice and feel strong and protected. It also helps to boost lipid content in your skin. So again, it's really there to protect and rebuild that skin barrier function. Again, moisturizers are really good for that. You want to make sure if you have TOOL, if you're losing that water, then you really want to have something like this that's going to help repair that skin barrier function. And then obviously, like really good face creams do, it helps to lessen the look of wrinkles and fine lines on your skin. It really helps you get that plump, bouncy look back to your skin. So that's kind of like the, in a nutshell way of explaining the difference between hydrators and moisturizers. There's so much more we could talk about about. And if you guys have any questions, you can always tell me in the comments below. We also have a private Facebook group where we discuss a lot of this stuff, and it's actually starting to become a little bit of a sounding board for me, because that's when I'm starting to realize where people have this kind of confusion between words that I'm using or ingredients or anything like that. You can ask those questions. Even if I don't answer, there are other people answering all of these skincare questions and just beauty questions in general. I'll leave a link below in the description box. You can also find me on Instagram. I'm at Susan Yara, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.